Hello everyone, this is Mr. Medor here. I am here to talk about two different kinds of golf. That would be Frisbee golf and soccer golf, the two that we'll be playing in class. Golf itself is a sport where you obviously use clubs and a ball, and you try to hit the ball into the hole within a certain amount of strokes. Now, most holes in golf are a par 3, a par 4, or a par 5. What that means is if it's a par 3, for example, you have 3 shots to try to make it in the hole on the third shot. If you make that, that's par. If you make it in 2, that's under par, which is really good. You want a lower score, so that would be a birdie. But if you go over 1, that would be a bogey. And it'd be a double bogey if it's 2 over, 3 over, triple bogey, etc. But in our game, we're going to play with a par 2. So that means you have 2 shots or 2 throws every time to try to make it to be at par. Okay, so that's how the game will work for both. Now, what makes these different, obviously, is the fact that you're using a soccer ball, for one, and you are also using a Frisbee for the other. So you'll be throwing or tossing the Frisbee to try to make it. But then with your soccer ball, you're obviously trying to kick it in. Now, it's going to look different for everyone because in the house, you want to check with your parent or guardian, is it okay if I do either of these in the house, first of all? The things you can use for the Frisbee are an actual Frisbee, and outdoors is preferred, if you can. A lid, so lids for like containers, like sour cream containers, etc., that make good Frisbees. A paper plate, that would work as well, or stacking a couple together, maybe gluing them together so they're a little bit heavier so they move better. Also, you can use a hat. Oh my gosh, again? Spider. You could use a hat. A hat would actually be a good thing to use because it spins much like a Frisbee and it's pretty lightweight. So if you have a hat, that would work as well. And what you're trying to do is basically have a spot where you throw off from. And it could be in the house. You could do a shorter space if needed, right? So if you need 3 to 6 feet, something like that, you would put your target out away from you about 6 feet, let's say, like we did with a lot of our games in CDL. And then if you had a hat, you would try to toss the hat into that target. Now, those targets could be anything from a low box, not a huge box, a low box preferred, a low bag, maybe if you cut off a bag at the bottom. Another thing you can do is in another video I made talking about some of the things you can use for Frisbee golf and soccer golf. You could take 2 kitchen towels and kind of roll them up and then make a circle out of it. That's another way you could do it, or maybe use 3 and make it a little bigger. So yeah, trying to get those basically throwing off, and if you miss the first one, then you get it and you make it on the second one, you've hit par. So that's 2 shots. Now if you went 3 shots, that would be 1 over or bogey. If you only did it in 1 shot on the throw off, then that would be a birdie. And that's what you're aiming for, is to try to be in the negative numbers, actually. That's better in golf. So that would be Frisbee golf. Now looking at soccer golf, obviously we're playing in different terms with our feet, not using our hands. Same concept though, we were going par 2s on every single hole. You're trying to kick the ball off from a certain starting point and trying to make it in. And again, if you make it on the first one, that's 1 under. Make it on the second one, that's par. Make it on the third or more, that'd be a bogey. Could be a double bogey, triple bogey, just a bogey, that's a single. All right, and you're gonna do this 9 times. Now you can vary it up. If you're in a space where you're not outside in a green space, for instance, you're not out in grass where you can't change it all up on your own. You can change it up, from 3 feet to 5 feet next time if you have the space, or move it slightly to the left or slightly to the right. So there's ways you can change it up a little bit, and you're gonna do that 9 times. So you're gonna do 9 different holes, okay? And at the end, you wanna take all those scores you have, so you're gonna have negative numbers possibly, mixed in with some zeros, mixed in with some positive numbers, and you'll see what your score is. So just think 9 times 2, because we're working with par 2s, that'd be 18 is the overall score. So where you land on the scale to 18 by the end shows you where you landed and where your score is. So for instance, let's say I ended up averaging 2 per hole, so par. Then it would come out and my score would be 18. And then par is 18, so I'm at par. Now, if I was at 22, I'd be 3 over par, or excuse me, 4 over par. If I was at 14, then I'd be 4 under par, and that's good. That's what you want to see. Okay, so just remember, if you throw on the first one you miss, you pick it up where it landed, and you throw from there to try to make it into the target. Same with the soccer ball. So the soccer ball is going to be a little trickier because it's going to roll a little bit more, right? So you got to be very careful and use touch. So wherever the soccer ball lands on the first shot, that's where you have to try to shoot from next. So yeah, that's pretty much golf in a nutshell, and Frisbee golf and soccer golf especially. So I hope you enjoy both of those sports, and we will see you all soon. Have a great day.